Hi, it's me, and welcome back to more Limbus Company. Today is June 12th. We've just got some time-killing time added to the game, and that's always great, right? Time-killing time adds 2 whole things, and by 2 I mean 3. And we're going to be looking over all of them today, hopefully anyways. We've got Everlasting Faust, who has been just so casually on the screen this whole time. Our 7th VAV Ego added to the game, and it's not the first one in the polls, but then we also have District 20 Yuridivi Honglu, who is our new 3-star. There is also, if I go over to the drive menu, District 20 Yuridivi Ryoshu. But of course, I will have to do a little bit of work to get her. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to get the new IDs from the dispensary really quick. And then I'm going to do a mirror dungeon run so that hopefully I have enough to get Ryoshu in addition to these two. Okay. It is now 2 hours later. It took 2 mirror dungeon runs to get enough for the new ID. So, but now I have enough, so I'm just gonna... Yep.
담배 한 갑에 굴창나서 5? 그딴 소리를 하는 거 보니 네 놈머리에 나사가 빠졌나 보군.
District 20 Yuridivi Ryoshu.
실컷 찍어라. 이왕이면 흙뿌린 피가 잘 담길 수 있겠지.
Dang. They finally managed to make Ryoshu look attractive. People are gonna get mad at me for that. I don't know why I said that. T-Corp staff standard issue weaponry. A rice cooker that doubles as a slow cooker for hearty beef stew. Cute chicken-shaped plush. Lollipop candies of various flavor, too. All kinds of items are on display in each stall. At this famous bartering market of the Yuridivia underground hideouts, the child came here to trade for an item of great importance. That is why she scrounged for every single leftover screw she could find after building her invention. 4 screws for a box of cigs. Aren't they the equivalent worth? Ha, nonsense. This box is packed to the brim with cigs, I'll have you know. 7 screws. The Yuridivi merchant shakes his head, but the child wasn't going to back down just yet. She shoved the screws on her palm closer to the face and declared, 4. 6, and that's with the discount for being one of us less. 4. 5. I won't go any lower than that, alright? 4. Refuse again and I'll SYNC. Perhaps the child's glare intimidated him. His eyes began to wander in search of something he needed, something she would be happy to take care of in return for the box of cigs. They came to a sudden stop on his radio that broke down some time ago, his attachment radio. Wait, just hold on a moment. How about this? No need to pay me with screws, yeah? Just get this broken radio working again and I'll give you the whole box. Oh. Great. So I did try my hand at fixing it, and from what I can tell, it's a wiring problem down the... Ah! Just as the merchant was starting to explain what was wrong with his radio, the child pulled out a massive spanner from somewhere and began smashing the merchant's radio with it. Clang, 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 the heavy sound of metal slamming into metal. Something one wouldn't expect to hear outside places like the workshops was more than enough to freak out the merchant. He jumped from his seat screaming and tried to stop the child, but it was too late. What the hell, lass? Look, it's completely busted. Look harder. The merchant, after a moment of silence for his crushed radio, dejectedly reached out and pressed its buttons, and exclaimed with joy. Huh? That worked? You can always trust percussive maintenance to do its job. The child was no longer interested in conversing further with the merchant, no matter how happy he looked as he tinkered with the radio. She was now looking at the other child, who was eyeing the sundry lollipops at display in the other stall. She took a box of cigarettes from the merchant before kicking the other child in the shin. No more lollipops. Time to give me a job. Now. You know, I'm technically your captain, right? How come you've always kicking me to get my attention? You're so mean. The child protested with a lollipop in his mouth and rubbed his shin in pain, but his expression made it quite clear that he didn't really mind this small violence. In fact, it appeared that the other child was used to such treatments from her. He nonchalantly produced a bundle of paper from his overcoat and placed it in her hand. I would appreciate it a lot if you could come to our hideout and pick up your next assignment. Anyways, I trust that you'll take care of this list just as well, right? Your appreciation is NOMB. None of my business? I think. The targets you gave me last time were too bland. I barely felt anything from bashing in their skulls. Then you'll like this one. The next target is a bigwig, an actual industrialist, the proprietor of the biggest factory in the area. He's... The child's lips slowly curled into a smile as the other child continued to explain her target. The child, now outside the Yuridivia hideout and weapon in hand, slowly stalks her target. I don't know why this is so hard for me to read. The look of unsuppressed elation is clear on her face. Honglu, that brat, he finally fished up something exciting. In her hands is a piece of paper they called the list. Names of those who exploited the weak and the downtrodden filled the paper from corner to corner, barely leaving any white paper to be seen under all that ink. The child's current target was on the list. It's such an artistic ecstasy to watch the look of someone who's never experienced shortened time have their time taken from them. This child didn't have some grand, just purpose in mind when she picked up this list. She doesn't really care about redistribution of wealth or making sure that no one else goes hungry either. The heinous acts of evil men was none of her business either. In fact, even the Yuridivia ideology was none of her business. She just enjoyed cutting the haves short, whether it was cutting their time short or their lives. ROW is the AOS. What? I wish Sinclair was here. I can't translate all of these. The child suddenly breaks into a sprint after passing the flickering streetlight. The child swings the spanner, albeit at an oddly slow speed. If someone with a lot of time were to see it, they would even be able to tell the exact trajectory of that swing. But the rich man still failed to dodge her assault. As she swung it at a meticulously calculated angle that left no room for him to move. The weighty, blunt noise briefly echoes through the alley. The child grins satisfactorily as she places the cigarette she traded for between her lips. She'd extracted quite a bit of time from the target. That's when she noticed a brief flashing light next to the streetlight. A T-Corp surveillance camera. That recording won't do this piece of art justice. The child furrowed her brows and swung her spanner again, this time at the camera. The surveillance camera promptly drops to the ground. Now, isn't this a much better angle? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Alright. District 20 Yuridivia Ryoshu. Our 2-star for the week. Starting with passives. Oh my. Let's do the support passive first. 4 Sloth owned, the AI. Number 1 deployed ally gains +1 more tremor count from their skill or coin effects 2 times per turn. That's nice. It's just gain more charge, basically. Wish they would actually make it charge, but oh well. Then NO. 3 Sloth Resonance. When an ally staggers an enemy with an attack, follow up with a skill 1 against the staggered enemy once per turn. If multiple enemies are staggered at once, target the enemy with the least HP. For abnormalities, target the abnormality with the least HP, then target the part with the least HP. When using skill 1 with this effect, this unit gains +1 more tremor count from its coin effects and triggers a tremor burst with the last coin on hit. Very powerful passive. I was a little afraid that it wasn't going to be resonance. I knew it was going to be once per turn. There would be no universe where that isn't once per turn. Defense, 7 to 13 guard. On use, gain 2 times tremor count on self as shield HP, up to 5. What? 5 tremor count, I hope, and not 5 shield, because that would be annoying. Got a screw loose. She's British. Dang. Blunt Lust skill with 2 coins. That's a 3 to 11. On use, gain +2 tremor count. On use, at 5+ tremor count. Clash power +2, so that clashes at a 13. On hit, gain tremor count equal to the tremor count on the target divided by 2 up to 3. On hit, inflict 1 tremor count. Sorry, it's after midnight. This is a lot of tremor count. Wow. This skill can gain 5 on herself and also inflict 1. Which is obviously not a lot, but I can see why. Skill 2, Compression Wind-Up Spanner. That is a 4 to 13. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Pierce Sloth skill with 3 coins. On use, gain 2 tremor count. At 5 or more tremor count, coin power +1, so it becomes a 4 to 16. Coin 2 heads hit, gain 1 tremor count. Coin 3 on hit, consume tremor count on self and inflict the same amount of tremor count on the target up to 5. Jesus. That's a lot of tremor count. Wow. And you gain 3 of it with this skill too. That's really nice. That's guaranteed 3 tremor count infliction. That's pretty good. And skill 3, Percussive Maintenance, a 4 to 16 Pierce Gluttony skill with 3 coins. That is not 16, that's 4 to 13 again. On use, gain 2 tremor count. Consume 10 tremor count on self to gain 1 coin power. So 4 to 16, okay. Inflicts 2 tremor with the first 2 hits, and hit 3 triggers tremor burst, then reduces target's tremor count by 2. This skill is not as good at all. Like, skill 2 is where it's at. Skill 3... I mean, it is her only tremor burst, I suppose, aside from her passive. But it doesn't do a lot of tremor. She's all count. There's, like, no potency in this entire ID, which I guess is okay, since count is also important. Okay. At uptie 4, you gain the 2 clash power of skill 1 at 4 instead of 5. First hit, can give you up to 4 tremor count instead of 3, and it's not divided by 2 anymore either. And second hit inflicts an additional tremor count. Very, very nice. Skill 2 gains 1 clash power at 4 tremor count, and also the coin power is at 4 instead of 5. Second coin is on hit instead of heads hit. And then skill 3, if the target has 6+ tremor, coin power +1, so this could become a 4 to 19, and it only consumes 8 instead of 10 for the first coin power, and only reduces tremor count by 1. Okay. And then the guard can gain a maximum of 20 additional shield and becomes Sloth. So I've been going pretty hard into Tremor, so I am going to get this up to uptie 4. So, yeah.
여기가 살인 사건 현장이군요. 이런 아마추어 같은 마무리를 해두고 가다니 어지간히 시간에 쫓겼나 봐요.
I definitely didn't forget to have voice turned on when I extracted Faust. Don't worry about it. It shouldn't matter.
자, 나를 범인이라고 생각하고 여기서 있었던 일을 천천히 상상해 보면 결국 진상을 파악할 수 있겠죠?
I guess I'll start by taking a quick look around. The child leisurely strolls into a dark and stuffy basement. He has a casual look on his face, as though all was right in the world. In his mouth is a sweet lollipop, and his gait is relaxed and gentle. There was something different about this child. Though he wore the very same scarf that others in his organization wore, he did not share their perpetual sense of urgency. It's not a rare sight to see a Eurodivi fight a Eurodivi, but this one's a bit different. The Eurodivia. An organization established with the spirit of bringing a new world to life, a world in which the few do not hoard the riches, a world of equality. But not all those who call themselves a Eurodivi share the same sentiment. Now that the Eurodivia was widespread enough to establish themselves as a real presence even in some nests, Some of their new recruits did not share that ideal. Some of them joined only because they were down on their lucks, or only because they simply disliked the way things were under the Wings' reign. Such disaccord often leads to internal conflict. Sometimes their opinions of the Wings and the Nest just don't always see eye to eye, and sometimes violence becomes the preferred conflict resolution method. But that's just the way things are in the city, isn't it? And that is where the child comes in. He has been working as a Eurodivia detective of sorts, investigating instances of such violence. My, blood splatters all over the place. All those broken cups. That'll fetch quite the compensation. Hey, you're finally here. Yes, I am. Can I get a lowdown on what we're dealing with? His colleague extends his greetings as the child bends down to traverse under several layers of tapes outlining the crime scene. Well, like always, can't say I've got a lowdown to give you. But I'm sure this mess is nothing more than one of them brawls that breaks out after a potent mix of too many shots of liquor and overly passionate debates. I've got confirmation from the witnesses and the owner, too. One of them just glassed the other one out of nowhere, right in the forehead. Ouch, with a glass cup? Sounds painful. Yeah, ouch is right, and that was probably the last straw. The moment of no return where all hopes of resolving the situation without a casualty were lost. The partner muttered bitterly before letting out a deep sigh. Lad, I can't understand how people gathered under the same banner and the same cause could hate one another so much. I just don't. It's easy to bring people together for something happy because everyone wants the same thing. But bringing angry people together for something unhappy is hard, because once you really look into it, you'll notice that not everyone wants the same thing. People all have different reasons for feeling unhappy about the Wings, right? Sometimes I can't help but wonder how you can act so aloof like you're above all this. If you decided to join the Eurodivia, I bet you had your own reasons too. Am I wrong? Oh, I'm just here to expand my horizons. It's certainly given me an eye for picking up clues and getting a better picture of each case. The colleague simply could not understand the child, nor could he share in his casualness. But perhaps he thought that was precisely why the child could be trusted to resolve these cases with fair eye and swift feet. Besides, it was more fitting of the Eurodivia to settle their own problems rather than to rely on a wing or the associations. Right, what do you see? Give me something to work with here. Of course, let's reconstruct the crime scene. The child adjusted the dial on his clockwork monocle as he replied. His voice suggested that he was in high spirits. The monocle, crafted by a skilled artificer who once worked for a famous workshop, highlighted various points of interest. Adjusting the dials would play various scenes that could help with the viewer's deductions. Look, the blood splatter's all dried at different rates. This one's dried and viscous, and it's halfway permeated into the wood. The other splatter's a bit fresh, though. Not sure how much that info's worth. Like how dried the blood splatters are doesn't help us much if one of them was living 8-hour days and the other one was 6-hour days. Can't tell who bled first from that. Let's reconstruct the broken pieces of the glass. Wait, this was a light bulb, not a glass cup. Then above us must be... Huh, one of the lights is missing. This could be interesting. Let's check the register, shall we? The child sang a cheerful hum as he sauntered up to the register. The owner of this shop organizes his daily earnings by collecting the receipts. I remember how he was always so proud to show off his collection of receipts whenever we came here for a meal. Looks like he's been deep in the red as of late. Replacing a precariously hanging light must have been the last thing on his mind. Wait, that means... Yep. That explains the confused look on the victim's face I saw through my monocle. So all that was over a misunderstanding? The colleague sighed and ran his hand through his hair with a bitter expression. It must have pained him to see the Eurodivia's name, to which people flocked under the same cause of revolution, degrade in the public eye. It's tragic, but maybe all this was inevitable. Expecting everything to go right in a word of ever-shifting chaos is to slumber and dream of excessive idealism. Alrighty then. Trying to get freaking suave up in this game for some reason. Okay, he's got about the same stats. I didn't even look at Ryoshu's base stats, but I mean, they're about the same as this guy's, so that's alright. Alright, passives. Vibroweld Morph Combat Cane Unauthorized Invention. What a name. 6 sloth owned, turn end, gain damage up next turn equal to the numbers of times this unit triggered Tremor Burst this turn, up to 3 times. That's pretty easy to activate. And in the culprit's shoes. When number 1 deployed identity triggers Tremor Burst with skill or coin effects, 25% chance to trigger an additional Tremor Burst. Once per turn. Pardon me? Okay then. I mean, sure. Defense skill, 10 to 14. Wait? What is the name of that skill? On use, gain double tremor count on target as shield HP up to 7, so 14 more shield HP, I guess. Guards are becoming steadily a lot more powerful, huh? Skill 1. Deduction start. A 3 to 11 blunt gloom skill with 2 coins. On use, gain 2 tremor count. First coin inflicts 2 tremor, second coin on hit gain 2 tremor count. Okay, so 4 charge, got it. Skill 2, Morph Cane Technique. 4 to 16 Pierce Sloth skill with 3 coins. If the target has 8 plus tremor, clash power plus 1, gain 3 tremor count, and at 6 plus tremor count, coin power plus 1. That seems pretty easy to get. You just use a skill 1 and then a skill 2, and you have it. It's like really easy to do. Oh, it actually, this is one of the ones that activates mid-skill. It's not an on-use coin power-up, so you will always have it if the first coin hits, because it also gives 3 tremor count. Okay, then. Second hit inflicts 3 tremor. Third hit, on hit, if the target has 7 or more tremor, trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1. Interesting that it goes by Tremor Potency to trigger Burst, and then reduces count, but that's alright. Pretty solid skill, huh? Ugh, expect more yawns. Skill 3, You're the Culprit. That is a 3 to 15 Pierce Gluttony skill with 4 coins. If the target has 6 plus tremor, clash power plus 1. On use, consume 10 tremor count on self to gain 2 coin power. So it becomes a 3 to 23, okay. That's kind of nuts, but oh, alright. If this skill consumed tremor count on use, trigger Amplitude Entanglement into Tremor Reverb. So we know what Tremor Reverb does. His Cavernous Wailing already inflicts it. Amplitude Entanglement is new. It fuses the effects of the Tremor type added by Amplitude Entanglement and the Tremor type currently on the target together under Tremor Superposition. This means you can have multiple additional Tremor effects, like, for example, Fracture and Reverb at the same time, which is just a lot of damage. Potency and count values do not change over entanglement, so basically you'll have the same potency and count as when the entanglement is inflicted. Tremor Superposition is just the combination effect. It's not like it fixes the counts. When triggering Amplitude Conversion on Tremor Superposition, it activates as Amplitude Entanglement instead, so you can add additional Tremor types to it as the turn goes on, and turn end it converts into Base Tremor. So while it says it does Tremor Reverb, it will be normal Tremor after the end of the turn because this is Entanglement and not Conversion. Coin 2. Oh yeah, I think Amplitude Entanglement, personally, is just weaker than Amplitude Conversion, whatever the heck the other thing was called. It's in the skill description. Yeah, Amplitude Conversion. Because it converts it back into base tremor at the end of the turn, and this is the first piece of equipment that actually does that. You would probably more likely want, you know, to keep the boosted tremor. Sorry, I'm yawning a lot. Coin 2, on hit, trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1. This is a good skill, by the way. I don't want to make it sound like it's bad just because of entanglement. And then coin 4, trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1. If this unit did not consume tremor count with skill use, activate the above effect, then trigger Tremor Burst on self. This does not matter. If you're not fighting an enemy that inflicts tremor potency, it literally will never do more than 1 burst damage, which is doesn't matter. Okay. no special sanity effects. At up type 4, skill 1 gains at 6 plus tremor count, coin power plus 1. So this can be a 3 to 13, which is pretty good. Skill 2, now giving some clash power at 6 instead of 8. And the coin power is at 5 instead of 6 on self. So it's easier to activate, even though it's still the same. Is that changing from headset? No, it's not changing at all, actually. I don't know why that's highlighted. Coin 3 triggers burst at 6 instead of 7. And skill 3, clash power plus 1 for every 6 tremor on the target, up to 2. At less than 15 tremor count on self, consume 10 tremor count to gain coin power plus 2. And consume 15 tremor count on self to gain coin power plus 3. Alright. What is that? 3 to 27? Coin 3 gains the same effect as... Sorry. Gains if this skill consumed 10 plus tremor count on skill use, trigger tremor burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1. Obviously, it doesn't do anything until up type 4. Coin 4. If the skill consumed 10 plus tremor count on skill use, trigger tremor burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1. If this unit consumed less than 15 tremor count, trigger tremor burst on self. So basically, you can avoid the burst on self if you consume 15. Again, it doesn't really matter. Guard skill is 13 instead of 7 and becomes sloth. I mean, it's pretty good. Everlasting Faust. Evolve Ego. 10's SP. You all know what that means. 2 Lust, 4 Sloth, 2 Gloom, 3 Pride. So 11 total for a 1 attack weight Ego. I feel like I've read this before. Actually, red shoes cost 10, not 11. First off, 4 coins. So that's cool. It is a 4 to 24 blunt sloth ego with 4 coins. Everlasting. If the target's speed is slower than this unit's, deal plus 3.5 times speed difference percent more damage, up to 35%, so that's 10 speed higher. At 3 plus highest resonance, inflict tremor potency by highest resonance, up to 5. Okay. If the highest resonance was Sloth Absolute Resonance, inflict tremor count by tremor potency inflicted, up to 5. So, if you have 5 Sloth Absolute Resonance, it's 5 potency, 5 count. Okay. For 3 turns, lose 10 SP at turn end. We knew that was going to be there. Coin 1. On hit, inflict 5 tremor and plus 5 tremor count. On hit, trigger Amplitude Entanglement into Tremor Everlasting. Tremor Everlasting is too long of a description. When hit by skills or coin effects that trigger Tremor Burst, Tremor Potency on self % chance to trigger an additional Tremor Burst up to 50%. Okay. This is obviously insanely powerful. I don't need to explain that to you. Unfortunately, there's no way to just inflict it. You have to do it through entanglement. Coin 2, trigger Tremor Burst and reduce count by 1. Trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce count by 1. Trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1. And then final coin also has reduce target's max speed by half next turn. Only the max speed. That's an interesting effect. I don't know why we don't have more stuff like that. It's definitely very interesting. It's definitely very expensive. It seems pretty decent, though. In boss fights, this is gonna shred bosses. Because what you'll probably have is Cavernous Wailing to inflict reverb, and then when you're ready, fire off one of these and just watch the boss evaporate. Though it is pretty expensive. The Corrosion is a 36 to 24. That's really high roll. With 3 weight. 40 That's the highest SP cost of any ego in the game. Wow. That will cost 60 from full if you overclock it. Targets randomly. If the main target's speed is slower than this unit's, deal 2 times speed difference % more damage, only up to 16%. Okay. 3+ highest resonance, inflict tremor potency by highest resonance, up to 4. And if the highest resonance was sloth absolute resonance, inflict 2 tremor count. This obviously inflicts it to all targets, and that's why it's a lower number. On hit, inflict 3 tremor and 3 tremor count. Trigger amplitude entanglement into tremor everlasting. Trigger tremor burst. Trigger tremor burst. Reduce target's max speed by half dex star. Okay, that's very funny, but probably way too expensive to be sustainable, unfortunately. And then as a passive, running time, when this unit uses a skill to trigger Tremor Burst on an enemy, gain 1 haste next turn, 4 times per turn, including Ego skills. Not that she has any other Ego that can even burst Tremor, but don't worry about it. It's okay, this automatically probably hits it every time. 4 haste, huh? That's actually really good on Regret Faust. What about at Thread Spin 4? This is the same number, don't try to lie to me, but it caps at 50% instead. 2 times highest resonance, up to 10. Same here. So that can be 10 tremor with 10 tremor count, wow. It did not gain attack weight, okay. This can inflict 20 tremor and 20 tremor count. If you have 5 sloth. Yeah, it's the same number. Sorry, I was just checking my math because the 2 times is up here, but this goes by the number inflicted here. Okay. Same thing. First coin also bursts tremor after inflicting it. And that's all that changes there, so it just gets an additional burst. This bursts tremor 4 times. Okay. Corrosion 2.5 times, maxing at 20%, so that is an actual increase. That is the same number. And then inflict tremor count by tremor potency inflicted, max 5? Pardon me? That's not how math works. Inflicts 2 more tremor and tremor count. Bursts tremor an additional time. Claps. I should update this. I'm a tremor guy now. I should get this up to Thread Spin 4. In fact, I will. Just give me a moment.
재밌군. 준비되었습니다.
The hell?
가볼까요?
재밌군. 이건 내가 맞지.
Why he sound like that? Alright. Now, quick disclaimer. Tremor is never going to be as good as it should be against human fights because you're doing a human fight. I'm just gonna use this now. I know that it's not the most effective yet, but I need tremor count, so... Same with you, actually. I need to get enough to use Everlasting to actually see it in action. Free burst. Now, I know it literally does just get rid of all the tremor it inflicts, but don't worry about it. I think I have more tremor count on myself than I have on the enemies. God, okay. We're not gonna use that yet. It's not needed yet.
한바탕 해볼까?
This seems like a pretty solid team, just in general. It has the lust skill that you need on Ryoshu, because you don't really need a lot of lust for Everlasting. I will try to use the overclock version, though it kind of looks like that's not going to happen because she's just not winning any clashes today. Oh, you have enough charge. Just stab her. Bomb them. Bomb them. Keep bombing them. Oh, Faust seems like she's doing pretty good. I know that's not who we're here to test out, but man, she seems like she's doing great. It's taken me 4 turns to get rid of phase 1. Wow. Well, this guy's dead. Monk.
그러니 알아서 잘 피해.
Faust, please win your clash. It would be very embarrassing if you didn't. I need you. Okay. Why are you like this game?
A에
Seriously.
거스르지 말고.
I don't know, the IDs themselves. That was her passive?
뿌리도록 하지.
So I know I did not use the skill that did Tremor there. Okay, fine. No. The other one. Okay, we're not gonna get Sloth Absolute Resonance yet. Well, actually I could. I could just use, 4 blocks. That's a terrible idea this early in the fight.
한바탕 해볼까?
The point is to see the ego. I mean, okay. She could also lose. That wasn't even a clash loss. She just got hit. Alrighty. Oh, you are very dead, huh? Hold on, Ryoshu's gotta punch that guy now. Eventually. Oh, I used that? Okay. She has so much Tremor count. What the heck?
A에 거스르지 말고.
당신에겐 제가 어떻게 보일까요? 시간의 태엽 안에 그 답이 있을까요?
Jesus Christ. I saw a lot of Tremor bursts there. Ooh, Superpositions icon looks cool. Too bad I have no reason to look at it. But, oh well. That was a pretty cool looking ego. This is going to kill before all of the hits go off. Yep.
편하게 가자고요.
Dang, that is snazzy. I really like the Uridivi grip. Actually, it might be my favorite grip in the game, I'll be honest.
그러니 알아서 잘
It's so
피해야지.
cool. Hold on, I'm just getting 4 haste. Don't worry about
완료.
it. Do I have to corrode into it?
뿌리도록 하지.
Is the question. I don't even have enough to use it once. I'm short on pride, I think. I do not have a lot of pride in this team, apparently. Happy Pride, everybody. I don't have enough, apparently. Thanks, game, for calling me out like that. Jeez. Oh. I had enough Tremor count. That killed for full. Alrighty. That's a pretty good skill, it turns out. Why did they have so much Tremor? What did I do? Some of those bursts were like 20. What is happening? Okay, this is gonna take a while. Rhodio's animations are slow. She has to be here because Effervescent Corrosion, of course. Okay. Let's have some fun. Let's kill my entire team. And I will Sloth Absolute Resonance this time around. Absolute Sloth Resonance. I am the laziest motherfucker alive. Wait, that's not everlasting. Why'd that go first?
그러니
What are
알아서
you
잘
doing?
피해야지.
Don't kill them, I need Faust to do it. Why is she going last? Oh, I didn't even use the corrosion. Whoops. Oh well.
그 시간에 뿌리도록 하지.
Y'all are gonna have to see that one for yourselves, I guess. Because I'm not gonna do another fight just to show it this
제가
time.
어떻게 보일까요? 시간의 태엽 안에 그 답이 있을까요?
Oh, stop mid-animation. Glad it doesn't crash the game like Wingbeat did before. Yo, she's pretty hot. Sorry, that isn't gonna make any sense for people who play this game, because I know half the people who play this game cannot read. Sorry if I just insulted you, but I meant it. Oh right, she gets a free attack, I forgot.
A에 거스르지 말고.
Oh, perfect. This will be funny, trust. Everybody is a sloth defense in this team.
한바탕 해볼까?
그대로 정지하는 겁니다. 멈춰진 시간 속에 영원히.
Smash. Oh, Jesus! I forgot how loud multi-tremor bursts were. She's gonna corrode, by the way. That takes 60 sanity to do. Oh, she has a hella superposition right now. It's funnier this way. Okay, at least one of them is hitting her.
한바탕 해볼까?
그대로 정지하는 겁니다. 멈춰진 시간 속에 영원히.
Who did I kill? I genuinely don't know, but everybody's gonna die. Except Faust, of course.
정지하는 겁니다.
I hope you all like Bird.
영원히.
Yo, 12 guard! Hogs. Ryoshu will live. He's fine. See? I killed Honglu. It's okay, he deserved it. The bitch. No, these are all really cool.
제압 완료.
30% of damage.
경보에는
Gee, I wonder why.
익숙해지시는 게 좋을 겁니다.
Let's see.
아직
Wow.
50일까지 많은 날이 남은 것을 파우스트는 알고
Wait,
있습니다.
what? Oh, it doesn't count ally damage. So, okay. Yeah, I think we all expected that after what I did. This, though, this is oh, wow. The 2-star out damaging Molar Otis. I mean, I wasn't really trying to play Molar Otis optimally, I suppose, but dang. Alright, there you go. New IDs in the shared facility. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm going to be going ahead and streaming the new content as soon as this is over. This has been a decently long video, so probably like 1:45 my time. So when I'll start that. So that'll be fun. Feel free to add me if you want these new IDs to test out. I also put Regret Faust with Everlasting, because I figure people will probably want to test that one out too. Or maybe just even use them to get their bonus from the event shop gain, you know? Burn video, as of me recording this, which will be 2 days ago by the time you see it, is about 1/3 of the way edited. It'll probably take me a little bit. Again, I said I'll have it out by June 20th, which is next Wednesday. No, it's next Thursday. And I'm gonna stand by that. I will have it out by the 20th. So look forward to that. It's just taking me a little extra time because I'm learning how to do sprite animations. And by that I mean they're just images, but I'm stapling them together. That's just what animation is. Don't worry about it. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you back again soon. Bye-bye.